All right. Well, we are so excited today to talk to you, Sophia. And for everybody who's watching and listening, Sophia Parker has an amazing background and she's going to be sharing with us what she's looking for in terms of hiring. So Sophia was born in Taiwan and she got a master's degree in mass communications, and then she got a second bachelor's degree in accounting after her first one in English literature. She had a successful career in private sector government contracting. And then at the age of 50, she established her own business. It was a boutique government contractor, distinguishing itself by a sharp focus on customer service. And today, she has built this into a very successful company that strives to advance its clients' missions by delivering innovative, research-focused software, enterprise IT, data analytics, and program management solutions. So today, DSFederal has over 160 employees in 4 states, a direct result of Sophia's people-centric management style. And in 2015, the U.S. Small Business Administration recognized her as its Maryland Small Business Person of the Year, which is only one of her many accolades we won't go into today. I do want you all to know that she has also founded a nonprofit organization, the IDEA Foundation, which is a 501c3 dedicated to empowering women and children worldwide through health services improvement, skill building, and financial independence. And they've been helping people in places as disparate as Afghanistan, Malawi, Puerto Rico, and even here in Maryland. She is also the author of The Alchemy of Hope, an autobiography that details her incredible rise from tough circumstances to amazing success. So we're very proud to have you here today, Sophia, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit more about your personal story.
Thank you. I grew up in Taiwan and grew up in a very interesting time in Taiwan when it transformed from an agricultural society to industrial society, from under martial law to a free democratic country. And I came to the United States in 1979. And I've been here ever since. This will be my 41 year of in the United States. So I love this country. I think the best decision I ever made was to come to America. I think I was just very lucky and very blessed to be an American citizen. Being an American citizen to me is just the greatest thing on earth.
Wonderful. It's great to see those immigrant success stories. So how did you end up in this field?
I worked for U.S. government as a local hire, what we called a PIT, for the State Department. I worked for State Department for more than 10 years overseas, going from embassy to embassy, from country to country, where I really learned a lot about public service, working with State Departments, diplomats, as well as the local embassy support staff. You really realize how important the mission is, and the work was very meaningful. Therefore, when we returned to the United States in 1996, I wanted to be either a public servant or working for a government contractor who indirectly contributed to the success of the mission. So I never worked for commercial business. All through my adult life, it's always been, working directly for the USG or as a contractor. This is the field I know, and being associated with a bigger mission, makes what we do more meaningful.
Yes, definitely. And I have that in common with you because I used to work for the State Department as well.
Really?
Yes.
That's great. Isn't it wonderful? I think the caliber of their staff is just so high. People came here for one purpose, and that just be of service, representing the United States all over the world. And I think just such a meaningful job.
Definitely. And also, as you and I have both discovered, we can also find meaning in the private sector. There are so many things that can be done to lift people up in different sectors. So
Exactly.
Looking back, how have things changed in your field since you started?
Um, when I started, when I first joined SAIC, after we came back from Pakistan in 1996, um, when I first started out, I think you had the government side on the contracting officers or the core, they had all been very well trained, and they were all very versed in FARs, and this collaboration between government and contractors was very cordial and very professional. And over the years, we see a change on the government staff. You see a lot of them have retired. You have the younger generation moving into being the contracting officers and cores. And I see they're dealing with contractors have become less and less frequent. That collaboration became more rigid. Our access to the government staffs has become very limited. After 9/11, with NIH building up the concrete walls, we used to be able to enter government facilities without much trouble. These days, without a badge, it would be very difficult for you to go into the government facility. So, and making marketing very difficult. To figure out another way of reaching to your end clients. And we also saw this COVID-19, right? You can't even go to the government site even with a badge, right? So how do you market? How do you connect now through Zoom? It has really become a different way of doing business. We all have to learn to pivot. And so these are the things that we all have to deal with. It's a different world. And
Yes.
so
dealing with the new breed of person, as well as the new circumstances where things are all virtual, how do you recommend that people network and become a known quantity so that they can be the inside candidate when they want to get hired?
I would say get very active on LinkedIn, get very active on blogs, Instagrams.
Blog, you say? You mean like comments on the blog written by somebody that you might like to work for?
Exactly. Or follow their blogs. What are they paying attention to? What are they blogging? What are the important things for them to see if this is the company that you will want to work for? I would say the first thing a candidate should do is find out about this organization's culture, right? Cultural trumps everything, right? Do you believe in their mission? Do you believe in the way they grow their business? You can tell, are they aggressive or are they just a staffing organization? Do they have a vision? Do they want to stay small? Do they want to grow? What's the likelihood of it being acquired? What does the government say about them? You can find all that on their website, on their blogs, and also follow the companies on LinkedIn. I would say, thanks to LinkedIn, we're still able to maintain this relationship with the clients or with your potential employers. Just follow them and interview them. Send them emails. If you email them through LinkedIn, if you connect them through LinkedIn messages, I find no matter what position this person is, they will respond. And that's a great way of getting in touch with them. Attend some of the virtual meetings, right? For example, I attend G2 Exchange or NCMA meetings. You find out their names, you connect them with on LinkedIn, and you look at their publications on LinkedIn, and that is a good way to connect Also, talk to their clients. If they are active in HHS, find out what they do in HHS or USDA. Is this that close to what you would like to do? Interview them. Hey, I'm very concerned about upward mobility. Give me an example of in your company how you promote upward mobility. What's your track record in that? If you connect with their talent manager in the company through LinkedIn, I would say they will respond to you right away. That's even more effective than trying to find out their email address and connect them through their company email. Just go through LinkedIn.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay.
Mhm.
And in terms of your company, what would you say are the values that are your guiding lights?
I think our value is that we are very big in R&D, and we're very big in promoting from within, and testing it, piloting a project before we approach to our clients.
Mm,
So it's a company that is ideal for people who like to do research, or they want to grow and they want to learn. This is a fantastic learning environment. I read that every company is a training company. So find out about their training program. What's your internal training program? I think that is also very important. In our industry, if you don't grow, you die. So judging by the results, you can see if they pay attention to learning, to training, for promoting employees from within. Ask, what's the average years of employees staying with your company? What's your retention rate? What's your percentage of internal promotions? These are all very important. I think we're very lucky. We're in a very stable industry, especially in this COVID-19 time.
yes.
We're so blessed, so lucky. I would encourage young people or job seekers to look for jobs um, with contracting companies like DSFederal, right? We haven't really been affected as much as a service industry or other
Yes.
industries. So I said this is a very good environment. So
And the contracting companies never really will be, because the government always has money to spend, even when the economy goes down.
yeah, we are so lucky, so blessed, right? So we need to make sure that when you pick a contracting firm, look at their track record and look at the type of contracts they win, and to see if there is upward mobility for you. I would
Yeah.
say if I were a job seeker, that's what I care about. It's not the salary you take home, because all these companies are on the Beltway. We all offer very competitive salary.
Mhm.
There's really not a shortage, and I see that the market is very, very competitive. So it's a job seekers market. And I would encourage you, job seekers, don't focus on the salary. Look at the total package. Look at training opportunities. Look at advancement opportunities, because that's really going to take you to the next place. Contrarily, when people look at your resume, if they see that you jump a lot, that is not a good sign. Recently, we had to give up a candidate whom we had as an employee before. We knew how good she is, but when we look at the history, just from between her last job with us and then her second time applying with us, she had already gone through 5, 6 jobs, right? And we told her, stay put, stay where you are, stay at least for 2 years. So those are very important as well.
Yes, those are great points. And that's really a contrarian opinion to say that it's a job seekers market. Are you saying that because if you're a contracting company, you have to get staffed up quickly and that makes it a job seekers market in your sector?
I think in general, again, there's no shortage in this area for government contractors supporting the federal government. As you just said, Uncle Sam is the biggest buyer, and we're not affected by the COVID-19 or the market downturn.
Mhm.
So it makes it very competitive.
Yes.
And especially now, because of COVID-19, we suddenly realized that, hey, working virtually is very acceptable. So that opens up the market to the whole United States.
That's
And become
right.
even more competitive, right? It's no longer that, are you willing to travel from Columbia, Maryland to Rockville, Maryland? You don't
Right.
need to commute anymore, right? So it's all based on talent. And, for us, being able to hire quickly is very, very important. So again, it's super competitive for employers. We're always fighting against the same talent, but
Yes.
what we look at is, your stability. Are you staying put? If we invest in you, will you stay?
Yeah.
Every employer will look at a resume, and the first thing they notice is this person willing to invest in themselves by staying put?
Yes. That is a great point. And sometimes people say, oh, this job isn't working out for me. I'm going to move on. And I think that's fine. It's sometimes you do have to think about what is working for you. But what I do think is unfair to the employer and not wise for your resume is if you decide to move on without even trying to see if the employer can meet the needs that aren't currently being met. Because a lot of times employees have more power than they realize.
Exactly.
And they just don't want to speak up because they feel uncomfortable doing so. But it's going to be even more uncomfortable if you end on, poor terms because you promised them you'd stay for, a certain length of time and then you jump ship.
Right. It's hard to show your achievement at a job if you've only been there 9 months or a year, right? It just doesn't add up. You talk about you have 2 paragraphs describing your achievements, and then we realize you've only been there 6 months. And it takes more than 3 to 6 months to get to know a job, right?
Yes.
So I would say be patient, do your research, look for the right company, the right job. Once you're with a company, if you don't like this job, talk to your supervisor or talk to the company, see if you can be transferred to another project. Once they invested in training you, right, they will do everything to retain you.
Yes.
So, be proactive in the communication, giving feedback to your supervisor.
I really agree. And I think that's especially important for the younger people to know, because I think a lot of times they haven't had as much experience in asserting themselves appropriately.
Right.
And sometimes also it depends on the personality type, because I find that some folks are the kind of person who likes to follow rules and is a very steady personality, but the disadvantage of that personality type is sometimes they store up resentments. And then one day they just explode. And it's like, these could have been easily managed. Just bring them up and see. If the person tells you, they're not interested in making things different for you, that's one thing. But if you never bring it up, then that's totally on you.
Right. Communication goes both ways. And like in our company, we send out a lot of surveys, a lot of anonymous surveys. We have onboarding survey, 90 days survey, 1 year survey. And in addition, twice a year, you meet with your supervisor to look at your goals, to see how they have helped you to achieve your goals. And we also have, every week we have company-wide training, lunch and learns, right? So if you are a talent, if you ask questions, if you volunteer, if you participate, your talent will be noted very quickly. For example, we have an employee join us not even 60 days. We realized, wow, what a talent. Willing to volunteer, he wanted to learn, his insatiable appetite for learning new things. Right away we are talking about this person in our executive meetings.
Okay.
Here's a talent. How can we mentor this talent? How can we help him to grow? Because ultimately it helps everybody, helps our client and helps us. So be that shining star, volunteer.
Tell us more. How did that person become a shining star? He volunteered. Anything else?
Volunteers and give us feedback and say, hey, I noticed there's something on the website, I can help, or
I look for opportunities to be helpful.
Right. We also noticed this person takes time to participate in company-wide lunch and learn and ask questions. And
for knowledge.
Yes, and we still have very few people at HQ. And I noticed that the person who doesn't have to come on site is here because he wants to learn. That is very smart, right? Because he values that, being able to work with different managers, be seen and be heard. I think that's also very important.
Yes, build relationships within the company.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. And what kind of people will find themselves right at home at your company?
Someone who loves to learn, someone who appreciates the attention that the management team is giving him or her, someone who wants to maybe one time, in the future, be an entrepreneur. We have people say in the onboarding survey why they join the company. I joined the company because I also want to eventually own my own business. I joined this company because I want to learn certain skills. I want to be a manager. We review that onboarding survey, and then we pass along to the manager, hey, pay attention to this employee. This is what that person wants to learn. Create a learning program for that person. We hold the managers accountable.
Well, that's not a turnoff for you if they say they want to leave eventually.
You cannot decide on whether you want to hire a person or not, on whether the person is going to leave you or not. Once you hire that person is in, right? We've had people who joined us, left, and came back. As a matter of fact, I always tell young people, if this is your first job, after you've been with us for 5 years, go out and look for another job, because our way of doing things is the only thing you know. Open your eyes up, go somewhere else, learn it. If you want to come back, come back. But what's good for you is you see different management style, different company. And there's a saying, would you not train your employees worry that they will leave you? And the response is, do you want those people who are not growing, learning, stay with you, right? So you provide the best opportunity for people. You do what's best for their employee. And then, you just go from there. You never know, because if you don't provide growth opportunity for people, then they will leave. Because, they want to advance themselves. It's not about a paycheck. Job satisfaction comes from whether you're being provided an opportunity or environment for you to grow. So that's on both parties.
Excellent. So how can somebody prepare themselves to have a better shot at joining your team?
We have a high percentage of referral. Referral is very good, because employee is happy here, he or she is willing to tell their friends or family about, hey, you know, I belong to this company, and it's a great company. You know, I want you to be a part of this company as well. So, you know, referral is a big thing in our company. We really promote that, and also meet our staff in different organizations. For example, we're very active in DrupalCon. We're very active in Tableau or AWS. You know, find out about us, meet up with our managers and say, hey, what is it like to work for DSFederal? Follow us on LinkedIn. I think that is a great way. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and just to see what we're doing, see if this is a company that would excite you.
Nice. That's right in line with our philosophy too, that people shouldn't just look for who's hiring. They should make a list of who they'd like to work for and work themselves in.
Right.
You know, if and when an opportunity opens up, or if they even say, you know what, we don't have an opening now, but I can see that we need what you have to offer, so let's create one.
And follow up, you know, you know, if you don't hear back from DSFederal in 3 months, send another email or send a LinkedIn message to the talent manager or the hiring manager. Hey, last time we checked in, you said that something might open up. What's the status like? You know, I'm still interested in joining your company. We love people who take the time to follow up and follow through. As a matter of fact, that is a quality that we look for. If you write us a handwritten note of, you know, thank you note after the interview, that speaks volume. I have hired people who did that, and that person turned out to be so successful.
Nice.
It's that little touch that you take the time to follow up.
Yeah.
Follow through. I know that when you work for us, when you work with our clients and your managers, you will follow up and follow through.
Yeah.
And that is a wonderful trait of a good candidate.
Absolutely. And if and when you participate in an interview, what are the most important things you look for in a candidate?
I participate in a lot of the interviews myself, along with the hiring managers. What I look for, other than the technical skill, because we have the managers who interview for the skills. When I sit in an interview, I look for that, what I call fire in the belly. I look for someone who is energetic, excited, inquisitive, passionate. It doesn't have to be passionate about applying a job with us, but there's something in their lives that they're passionate about, be it saving animals or working with senior animals or working in the shelters or making beads. What I look for, that sparkle in their eyes when they talk about something they love. And that's what gets my attention. I look for someone who can name their heroes, the people that they respect, right? Or they follow. I ask them what books you read. Who is your mentor?
Do IT people read a lot of books?
I ask them about, you know, who's your hero? Is it Google Satya? Is it Microsoft's Bill Gates? Is it Apple Steve Jobs? Who is it? Who is it that you look up to growing up that you would like to become? Why did you get into IT field, right? And when you see that they just raving and cannot stop talking about this hero in their mind, that tells me something about this person. Or, you know, the person could say, you know, I'm a self-made person. I code day and night. I attend coding school. This is what I do. I cannot stop coding. I want to learn. This is the latest technology I'm following. When they light up, that tells me that person um, has that fire in the belly. That's what I look for.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm.
So what advice would you have for young or mid-level executives in order for them to have a successful life and not just a successful career?
I would say an integrated life. It's no longer work-life balance. It's how you be of the best service. What contribution can you make to the society? What makes you proud, of what you do? What nonprofit that you support? I think these are all very important. Once you start a job, you realize that what you do is for a better good, that you are a part of that better good. If it's a NIH, how indirectly you are contributing to discover a cure. So that's very important for young people. It cannot be just chasing that salary difference. In the old days prior to COVID-19, people might drive from Columbia, Maryland to Reston for that difference, $5,000 difference in your salary. But with COVID, we don't leave our house, we don't leave our bedroom, we can code in our pajamas. So what would it be in there that will make you excited about what you do? And it has to be a higher purpose. We don't go out and spend money anymore, right? It's not like not taking your whole family to Disneyland or Disney World. So every day when you sit in front of a laptop, what is it that makes you feel like excited? This is a good day, that I contributed to something. I am part of a better good, bigger good.
Yeah. Beautiful. And what's ahead for you at the company?
A lot of exciting things. We've invested heavily in public health and data analytics. We say DSFederal, D is for data. So that's where our investment and where our future growth will be. Continue to help our clients to modernize their services is another big calling for us. Helping our clients to move to the cloud, to know more about their data, and it is very exciting. Again, because we support the federal government, be it USDA or HHS, that data is used to improve the service to citizens. So everything we do, it's like directly or indirectly contribute to the society. So that's what excites us. We realize that the individual coding, building something from scratch is yesterday. Tomorrow will be all about low code, no code. It will be more about blockchain. So how do we stay ready, be a step or half a step ahead of the client or the market? It really warrants investment, hiring the best talent, people who have the aptitude, are willing to learn, people who fit in our culture. We talked a lot about integrity. Without integrity, nothing works, right?
Mm.
So say what you do what you say, mean what you say, and that's all very important. So, there's no guessing. You're very clear on your goals. You need to be accountable, and we need to be accountable to our employees and to our customers. So, continue to grow and continue to foster this kind of culture is very important. Like I said, culture trumps everything. And as you grow bigger, it's harder and harder to keep your culture intact, right? We're no longer a small business. So, how do you keep the team going without losing the DSFederal flavor? Make people feel like we're still a DSFederal family, even though we can no longer share one pizza. So, how do we make sure that the message stays the same, consistent is our big challenge. This is why we have a solid executive team who can support me in delivering that consistent message.
Yeah. So what is that message? What do you want DSFederal to be known for?
We want DSFederal to be known to be the go-to mid-size contractor supporting the clients in health and safety space. That's what we want to be known for. I admire ICF, and people always remind me, even ICF started out as a small company, right? So we look at ourselves as a smaller ICF. What I admire about ICF in the old days was ability to have the subject matter expertise in health and services, and also the technical know-how. So that's what I want to be known for. But again, focus in the health and safety space. We are not pursuing work in weaponry or a mass destructive field.
Good for you.
No way. And we're not paying attention to EPA, because that's not our field. That doesn't excite us.
Okay.
What we want to do is just stays in the health and safety space.
It's always smart, I think, to specialize too. Would you have done anything differently if you were starting today?
Absolutely, a lot. Oh my God, I can write a book on all the mistakes I've made and what I learned from it. I still make mistakes, a lot.
Don't we all?
Yes, and if I started all over again, I would pay more attention to long-term strategy. I never knew that, in the beginning it was just grabbing whatever we could find. If I started all over again, I will have much more confidence in myself, in our ability to deliver. I think even Tony Hsieh, the young Zappo CEO who recently passed away, in his book called Delivering Happiness, he talked about lessons learned. He talked about if he had to do it all over again, he would have much more confidence in himself. I made the same mistakes as well, always thinking that, I know so little, we need to hire this expert, that expert, we could never do that. How could we do that? I know nothing. It's really, we all need to have confidence in ourselves. Nobody can know it all, we can't.
I think that's really important, especially for women. I think that's a big problem.
Yeah.
I think men have naturally, the testosterone gives them extra confidence, sometimes more than is merited by the facts. But with women, I think they see themselves, studies say, more realistically, but sometimes more in a more limited way. Instead of seeing what they're capable of, they see where they are right now.
Right.
And we have to have a bit of imagination to say what we're capable of. I was really lucky because when I was a little girl, my father used to say to me, you could be the first woman president of the United States. So he set this bar very high right from the beginning.
You are
I never thought
very
to myself,
lucky.
I can only be this.
Right. You're very, very lucky.
Yeah.
In my culture where I came from, women belong to the kitchen, in the kitchen, right?
Mm.
That, we succeed when our children succeed or our husband succeeds. It's in their glory that we exist, right? We're the strength behind them. Um, you know, we were taught to be humble. We're taught to be quiet. It's just a different cultural, different background. So,
Right. I mean, being Asian also, you're taught to not
mhm,
put yourself out there as much to conform to the system.
right, right.
That's got to be hard to overcome with developing an entrepreneur's mindset.
Yes, that's why, I waited until I was 50 years old. It never occurred to me I could do it. Never, ever.
So what changed? Was it your landmark education training or something else?
Absolutely. Without Landmark, I wouldn't even be here. Because of Landmark, I had the courage to start my own business. I'm still taking Landmark classes. I'm about to finish SELP. I don't know if you might have
Yeah,
taken SELP.
wonderful.
It's tough, but I love it, and that triangle, uh,
Yeah.
power, leadership, integrity,
Mhm.
it's so helpful.
Yeah.
So, had I known Landmark 10, 15 years earlier, I wouldn't have even divorced, right? Because
Mhm.
if you cannot make another person happy if you're not happy.
Yes.
Never realized that, so I'm all about making myself happy these days, because I'm not happy, then my employees are not happy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a selfish thing. It is really about in the court, in the space, and you play on the court, you be 100% there because people watch you, your every move, like Michael Jordan. Every single move, people are watching you, right? They watch your intention as well. So you have to say what you mean what you say. And I learned that from Landmark. Remember, they talk about that all the time. That's a
Yeah.
definition of integrity. So people who haven't attended Landmark Forum, what does that mean? Say what you mean what you say. Is it important? Yes, it is very important.
Mm.
It is very, very important.
Yeah. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, Landmark Education is a personal development company that has
Yes.
a full curriculum for life.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael and I have both done it as well as Sophia. So we strongly recommend it as a way
Yes.
to superpower you for greatness and happiness.
Yes, exactly. And I cannot thank Landmark enough. If it weren't because of Landmark Forum, I would never have started my own company. All I wanted was I wanted something small. What they talk about. This is ordinary and this is extraordinary. Yeah. So even now, when I make decision, when a thought comes to my mind, I say, well, that's an ordinary thought. There's nothing wrong with it. But what would it be extraordinary, right? What would be the uh, higher notch, right? How would you put yourself out there, right? What does it mean to empower others? What's the definition of leadership? It's not about you, it's about elevating other people.
Mm.
I use all these principles all the time. I don't remember it 24/7 every single moment of the day, but it does pop up in my mind. And I do
Yeah.
ask myself these questions, so it's so wonderful. And I take refresher courses all the time because you forget. It's good to always check in.
Yeah. Never stop growing. What would you personally like to be remembered for?
Um, for the charity work we do, that's my passion. I always tell people I work at DSFederal so that I can have the foundation. DSFederal affords me the opportunity to build a charity practice that we support so many meaningful endeavors that we personally don't have time to do it. But thank God there are so many wonderful, good-hearted people that are out there doing every day. So that's what I want to do. You know, you talk about third career, right? And now we live much longer if we're lucky. You know, living till our 90s or 100 is possible. So what would you do? What would I do after I retire? I definitely don't want to do this type of work until I'm 70, 75. So the third career for me is really charity work. That's where my heart and passion is.
Wonderful. Any other final thoughts that we should share with folks that are thinking about working with a bright light like yourself?
Find out what you want to do first. You know, put yourself in the future. What would you like to be? Like you asked me, what would you want to be known? What would you want to do? And work backwards. You know, as we said in Landmark, put the future in the present, right? Beautiful. So think about that first before you go out and look for another job.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. I can't wait to make the transcript and share it with everyone.
Thank you. And then we have to have our Landmark reunion, right? Do a career resolution and think about 2021. We're almost there, and we can only afford to do great things. You know, being ordinary is not acceptable.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much.